Hi baddies, how are we? Welcome back to my video. This video is all about you being enough, finding out, which it's already existing, why you are enough. If you're new to my channel, my name is Neeti. We're all self-development, brown girl glow-ups here. But I'm gonna get right into it because I have a feeling that a lot of you that are watching this video right now are probably feeling like you're not enough. You could be like literally right out of a situation that's making you feel like shit. You could be like literally crying right now. I kind of thought back to like why I would be watching a video that is telling me why I am enough and encouraging me and reinforcing that. And every time I felt the need to watch a video like that, it's been when I'm having like the worst time of my life. And some of the situations, which we're not limited to, could be like a stupid boy not answering you, somebody breaking up with you, somebody ghosting you, maybe you getting fired from a job, maybe not getting a job you wanted, maybe you getting rejected from a program, maybe you feeling excluded from a friend group, not having like a following, like whatever it could be that's leaving you feel like you are not enough. We're gonna get to the bottom of it. We're gonna figure out what it is, and we are gonna reinforce that we are enough, okay? And very easy steps. Okay, so first I kind of wanted to talk about like struggling with not feeling like you're good enough. This is something that, girl, I've been there. I have been struggling with that since I was very, very young. Honestly, sometimes you don't even realize that you're struggling with that until you're a little older. Like, I didn't even know that this is like something that I have a problem. So if you're even here watching this video, it means that at least you know that you not feeling good enough is something that you experience. You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes you might have a situation, like let's say you were isolated and excluded from like a friend group or like a situation, and you're sitting there watching their stories, you might be like, oh, that just makes me sad. But when you actually dig a little deeper into like what the situation is, a lot of times it could be like, you know, I don't feel good enough, or like it's making me question, am I good enough? Like it's making me question my self-worth. And I've had a lot of situations that have kind of led me to when I was a little older to figure out like I have some issues with like feeling good enough. Like there's a lot of different situations that make me upset, and it all kind of would like funnel down to not feeling good enough. And that's kind of like explaining like why I would be so upset or so triggered by situation. And okay, if we back up a little bit, like not feeling like you're good enough, a lot of times, you know, it can be caused by like certain situations that have happened in your life, but it kind of does go back to your childhood. And like I was raised by Indian parents, strict Indian parents, and I don't know if you know much about them, but they're just a little tough. You know, when you're raised in a country like that, it's all about like kind of like fight or flight. You have to make it. You need to be the top of the top in order to survive. Everything is survival. And so my parents were raised in India. Obviously I'm raised here, where it's not really North America. If you don't know, I live in Toronto. It's not the same mindset. And my parents, like they did move from India and they moved to Canada, and they worked their asses off. Like they worked really, really hard, and they made a really great life for themselves. But what they did kind of instill in me was not only a very high expectation that I have to live up to, but kind of that like I'm always not doing enough. I'm always not doing enough. I always could be better. I always need to be doing better, which if you look at it one way isn't actually like that bad. Like it's actually not that bad to feel like that. And in their eyes, like they could be pushing me, like, you know, like do better, strive for more, strive for more, strive for more. But I think that like as a kid, maybe I took it a different way, and I took it like, you know what, I don't feel good enough. I don't feel good enough for them. I'm always not doing enough. How come when I achieve something, they are always like, okay, but more? What, like, for example, they'd always be like, oh, you got a 95% on your test. Where's the other 5%? Right? It kind of left me with this feeling of not feeling good enough. And I think that like if you are noticing like many situations in your life, or maybe this is the first situation that you're feeling like, why do I not feel good enough? A lot of times it does go back to your childhood. And so start by kind of unpacking that, and you know, maybe think a little bit about like, why is this such a reoccurring theme in my life? Like why every time a guy like isn't responding to me or ghosts me, or you know, just doesn't want to date me for a healthy reason, do I start to feel like shit about myself? Why, when I don't hear back from a job that I really want, do I start to really question my self-worth? Like, you know, things that like, you know, shouldn't be affecting your self-worth as much as they should. Like, you know, like for example, not getting a job, you know, can be disappointing. You can be upset about it, but shouldn't be making you feel like you're not good enough. So look back to your childhood. Maybe try to figure out why you don't feel good enough. Maybe why does that stem from? Where did you get this idea that is in your head? And it's sometimes it's not even conscious. Sometimes it's just fucking deep in there. Where did you get that idea? I know that mine was definitely from my parents. Definitely had a lot to do with like academia and like being successful and not feeling good enough that way, because I think for them like praise wasn't really a thing. It's like you can always do better. And so I feel like I took that as like I'm just never enough. right? So I kind of had to realize that I have this like feeling of not being good enough, and then I would get triggered by so many things. Like when you think about it, this feeling of not feeling good enough, it's just an underlying feeling that you always have. You're just only noticing it when things are making you get triggered by. So like I said, all these different situations that you could be going through, friend group excluding you, guy breaking up with you, that's all just like triggering that feeling to come out. But that feeling is going to be in there deep down, some belief about yourself that you're not good enough because of something that's probably happened in your past or your childhood, or just the way that you talk to yourself. And so a lot of people are struggling with this. Like I literally had a patient, if you guys don't know, I work in research and psychiatry. In a hospital setting, so I actually work with people who have severe depression, and I talk to them every day. I do assessments on them. We're looking for different treatments. Anyway, so I had a patient who was talking to me today, and she just kept saying to me that like every time she does something really small, like drop a cup, because she's a normal human being, and we all drop cups, like what? She will tell herself like, oh, I'm so stupid. And like we say these things sometimes without even realizing, and it's such a little thing, or I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. Like, how did I forget my keys? Like, bro, I'm such an idiot for saying that. I shouldn't have even responded to him. That kind of stuck with me today, and it kind of is like what made me want to talk about this video. And I was like, the little things that you're saying to yourself is all kind of like going into like why you think you're not good enough. If you're calling yourself stupid 5 times a day because you drop a cup, girly, that means that you do not have good beliefs about yourself. You're topping at any chance to put yourself down. That's the number one thing that we're gonna stop. Okay? Stop blaming yourself. If you are sitting there because a man didn't respond to you right now, and or broke up with you and whatever, and you feel like you're not good enough and you're like, why me? Like, what is it about me? Or like, maybe he freaking cheated on you, maybe he's with another girl, maybe your ex moved on and you're like, oh, I'm just not good enough. Like, look at her. Stop right now. Put your phone down and stop. These are all such negative things that you were telling yourself, and they're just gonna literally keep you in this freaking horrible spiral. And I cannot get you out of this spiral if you don't stop calling yourself stupid, if you don't stop comparing yourself to the other girls, if you don't stop calling yourself ugly, if you don't stop calling yourself dumb because you didn't get a job. Like, you have to stop telling yourself these things as step one so that you can at least think with a clear mind. Because even though you might say, oh, I know I'm not dumb, I know I'm not ugly, you keep telling yourself these things and it's just like getting picked up by your brain. It's registering even though you're saying you don't believe it. So let's stop with that. I think that when you are in a situation super low, and I've been there, girl, I've been freaking crying on my sofa, feeling like absolute trash because a man ditched me. Obviously, I didn't consciously think I'm just not good enough, but like I was getting down to it and I was like, I just feel like I'm not good enough. Like, why doesn't he see me? Like, I'm everything. Like, look at me. Like, why am I still not good enough for you? Like, no matter what I do, I'm not good enough, right? You're not choosing me. You have to look at like yourself differently. Like, look at yourself in the mirror, or think about yourself in a third person. That's something I do a lot, or I almost think of some younger me as like my inner child, like another person that I'm talking to. And I want you to know that you just existing, okay, you just being you just having your aura, you just having your personality is enough. I don't know how much more to emphasize that, because like it sounds like okay, yeah, whatever, me just existing is enough. Enough for what? You just existing and being you and being the beautiful soul, the beautiful personality that you are, is enough to be loved, is enough to be chosen, is enough to be smart, is enough to get into that program, is enough to get that job. It's enough to be wanted. It's enough to have great friends. It's enough to be included in friend groups. You just being you is enough. And so if you were anybody like me, like I used to be the type of person who would think that I have to like do to be enough. Like, because I learned that from my parents. I have to do more to be enough. I have to be the best girlfriend. I have to do for this person. I have to be the best friend. I have to work 10 times harder than everybody else to be enough. And I'm only enough if I get into this, or if I do this, or if this guy chooses me. I had to learn that me just being me is enough to be loved, is enough to be chosen, is enough to be successful. I am enough. I'm smart enough. I'm pretty enough. I'm funny enough. I'm intellectual enough. I'm kind enough. I'm loving enough. I'm hardworking enough. I am enough who I am. And if you are having those doubts, because you know what I used to have, I'd be like, I am enough. And then my other voice in my head would be like, no, you're not. There's people more successful. There's people prettier than you. You're not enough for him. Look, he chose another girl. So I know where your brain is going. And I think that the second step to fighting that and combating that is telling yourself that you're enough, but then not comparing yourself. What your mind is doing is it's cognitive dissonance. It's trying to find, because you don't believe that you're enough, your mind is finding it hard to tell yourself that you're enough. It's like, what do you mean? I don't feel enough. So stop trying to tell me the opposite thing. That's not true. So your cognitive dissonance means that you're gonna tell yourself things that confirm what you already believe. And we're all there. Obviously, you don't believe you're enough right now. Sometimes I don't believe it still. It's fine. So when I tell myself I'm enough, I'm beautiful enough to be loved, I'm successful enough, I'm this, my brain's like, what? No, you're not, girl. No, you're not. This doesn't feel right. You don't feel enough, so why are you telling yourself the opposite? So what it does is it tries to trick you and it tries to find reasons that you're not enough to confirm the belief you already had. So it'll be like, no, you're not enough. Look at this person who ditched you. Look at that job you didn't get. You didn't even get into this program. You're so dumb. Look at this man that you wanted. He chose another girl. He cheated on you. Did this. Like, this person doesn't want you. These friend group don't want you. What are you talking about? You're not enough. Stop comparing yourself. That's what I used to do. I'd be like, well, I'm smart, but look at this girl. She's more successful than I am, and we're the same age. Look at this person. I want to be a full-time content creator. Oh, but this person started after I started, and look at how successful they became. Stop letting your brain run to these other things to make you feel bad again. And it's normal, because it's normal. Like, my brain still does it. It wants to do it really, really quick. You have to have control of your brain. This is a very important step. Have control of your mind. When you have a thought like that, that's like telling yourself, no, you're not enough. It's like, you know, rebuttaling you. No, I'm not gonna like associate with that. That thought is in my like realm, but I'm not gonna attach onto that thought. I'm gonna keep telling myself that I am good enough. Because when you keep telling yourself it and you stop giving energy and cycling into like comparing yourself where I'm not good enough, you're gonna go nuts. When you stop ruminating and comparing yourself and telling yourself you're not good enough, is when the thoughts will actually eventually hit and you will start to feel good enough. It takes time. It might take months, it might take years, but that's step number one. Another thing I wanted to say is that the fact that you're watching this video in itself means that you care enough about yourself to improve. That in itself is such a big achievement, and that in itself is the fact that you are learning things about yourself, the fact that you don't feel good about yourself, but you're taking the time to watch a YouTube video, you're taking the time to improve yourself, you're taking the time to listen to podcasts, you're taking the time to self-discover, like, why do I feel like this, and you want to improve. If you didn't want to improve, you wouldn't be watching this video. That in itself is a valuable person. That in itself is a person who wants to grow. That in itself is a person who wants to get better in life. You should be so proud of yourself. You are a valuable person. You are enough just for the mere fact that you want to be better. For the mere fact that you want to be a better person, you woke up today and decided that I want to be a better person and I want to feel better. That's enough. Do you know how many people sit there and live in their traumas and live in their bad habits and live in this feeling of misery, and they'll go until they're 80 years old not feeling good enough and being triggered by like things all the time? Girl, there are some people who literally do not care to do this work. This is not easy work. You think combating your thoughts every day, telling yourself you're good enough, waking up, writing affirmations is easy? The fact that you're even just taking one step to do that is such a big thing, and you should be so proud of yourself for that. I want you to know that there's literally nothing stopping you from having life. Girl, my dream life is I'm gonna be on my private yacht with my 7 G-Wagon family, okay? Whatever you want in your life, girl, it is attainable. Who told you that you are not enough and you can't have that? Who told you that? And if somebody fucking told you that, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't have the power. Are they the universe? Are they God? No, they don't have the power. Who the hell had the right to tell you that you can't have what you want to achieve? As soon as you realize that how powerful you are and the fact that you are another human being on this planet, but that means that you have the energy that any other human being has on this planet, you have the power that any other human being has on this planet energetically, that in itself tells you that you can achieve anything that you want to achieve. You can get a dream partner. You can get a dream career. You can get a dream program. Anything you want in life, you can literally achieve. You are just as qualified as anybody else. And a lot of people will tell me, oh, no, but like other people are raised more privileges. Like, you don't know my circumstances. Like, you know, I have health issues. My family, all the odds are stacked against me. I used to think like that as well. And I'm not saying that I came from an underprivileged family. I came from a very privileged family. I had my own set of issues in terms of like my family and my parenting and like being very imposing and like the set of standards I have. I wasn't raised in like the best environment, to be honest. But there are people who have way worse environments than me. There are people who maybe you're raised in addictions. Maybe you're raised single parent. Maybe you're raised no parents. Maybe you're raised with health issues. Maybe you're raised moving all the time. Maybe, you know, you've had traumas. Like, I understand that it's very easy to look at your disadvantages and say, well, the odds are just not stacked in my favor. Like, you know, I'm just not enough. Like, all these people, you know, like they have all these, they're privileged. They have all these odds going for them. They're enough. They're enough to get their dream life. They're enough to get their dream partner. This is so wrong. I have a very, very, very good friend who really changed my perspective on this. She came from a house where her father overdosed when she was 16. from fentanyl. Her mom, after that, went into crazy addictions. No money. Very, very, very small town in Canada. I think she has a college diploma. Lot of debt. No help from her family. No other siblings. Had inflammatory diseases, autoimmune diseases, chronic pain. Everything on her own. Okay? Odds literally against her in every freaking way. And she talks a lot about, by the way, this is my friend Alicia Gogan. She has a big podcast, The Globe Secrets. You can also look at her YouTube channel. She talks a lot about how her other friends were raised in a similar environments. Her mom's friends came from the same environment. It was still addiction. It was everything. And they ended up on the streets also doing drugs. She ended up being an entrepreneur. She has her own condo in downtown Toronto. She works for herself. She has a successful podcast, another successful YouTube channel, full-time influencer. She literally had no odds in her favor. Zero. She's really someone that changed my perspective on that. It's very easy to sit there in your victim mentality. And I understand that everyone has that they've been through, and I'm not being not empathetic, but it's very easy to kind of like in a way make excuses or feel like you are not enough or you don't deserve those dreams. You just like, you can't do it. Girl, you can. If you put your mind to it, you can get that dream relationship. Why? Because you don't come from, you never saw a happy marriage, so you don't think you can get a dream relationship. I used to think that. Absolutely not. You are smart enough, because I know you're watching this video, that you can change your perspective. Just because you didn't see a healthy marriage doesn't mean you can't learn what one looks like, doesn't mean you can't do the work, doesn't mean you can't work on your traumas, you can't work on yourself, you can't figure out your attachment style, and you can't try your best to be healthy. And when you do get into a relationship, you have the power. Doesn't matter what you went through, doesn't matter what your circumstances were, you have the power to change it. Everything is in your control. And I really think that you have to kind of bring in your spirituality here. You kind of have to, maybe religion, whatever you believe in, that will really make you realize that like, I am equal to everybody else. When you're looking at people on a pedestal being like, oh, well, they have this, well, they have this, they're just lucky. So are you. You have the same ability as them. You're just as smart as them. I don't care if they have a PhD and you have a, I don't know, high school diploma. You can educate yourself. You can be the dream person, get the dream relationship, have everything that you want to have. Stop telling yourself that you can't, okay? You're worthy of it and you are enough. You just being you is enough. I want to add though, yeah, being you and existing is enough, but also you have to do the work, right? I want to be a full-time content creator. I'm out here learning how to edit. I'm out here learning how the algorithm works. I'm out here making content every day. You want a dream relationship? I want a dream relationship. I didn't see a great marriage. I wasn't raised in a house where there was a good marriage. Then you need to start doing the work, start learning what your attachment styles are. I was in a relationship. Okay, let me see what I did, what didn't work, what worked. The biggest blessing I had was that relationship ending. So if you're ending one right now, it's honestly a blessing because I learned, I got to reflect on it. I'm putting in the work. I'm being single for a year, learning like, okay, I want to learn about myself. I want to work through my traumas. I don't want to be anxious anymore so that I can show up in a better relationship. You have to do the work and you can do the work. Why can't you? You're so smart. You're so intelligent, you're so beautiful, you're so caring, you're so loving, you have everything. You have everything internally. And so if I want you to take one thing, it's that you is enough. You are enough for whatever you want in this world. You deserve it. Walk around the world like it's my birthright. I'm gonna work for it, but it's my birthright. I, just as much as anybody else, am deserving of a dream relationship, of a dream career, of money, of success, of this education, of a great friend group, of love. And so I really hope that this video helped you in some way. I really hope that if you were feeling really shitty, and I've been in those moments, and I know when I'm watching a video like this, I'm usually in a really dark spot. I hope that this video made you feel a little bit better about yourself. I hope that this video put things in a different perspective for you. If there's any other things that you have questions about or you have comments about, comment it down below. You can also follow my TikTok and my Instagram. It's gonna be linked below as well. Once again, I said if you don't know me, I'm Neeti. I post a lot of self-development, South Asian, brown girly stuff on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And also like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you. Bye.